Hey guys, today on Rich with Cars, I'm going to talk to you about 5 different tips and tricks on the LC500. I've been reading on different threads some questions on the LC500 and how to use certain features or how to basically enable certain things from different owners. So I thought I'd be actually a little helpful in terms of talking about some of these things since I've been an owner for such a long time. So I hope that this video helps some of you in terms of getting some of these things done. So let's dive in and take a look. So let's jump right into it. So tip number 1, I've seen a lot of users asking about how to keep the rear wing up on those of you that actually have the performance package on the LC500. Some of you might know the performance package comes with that deployable rear wing. So many of you have asked if you can actually keep the wing up, because what the car actually does is that it deploys at a certain speed, and then once you go below that certain speed, it goes back down. You also have this button over here that actually helps you put the rear wing up. The thing about this button over here is that even if you deploy it through this button, eventually it'll go back down, and it'll go back down once you actually hit the speed, and then you go under that certain speed once again. So in order to keep it up, what you got to do is the following. So start off here. So let's press this until it turns green. That actually deploys the wing now in the rear. And then over here you press the back button here to show up your extra options, and then you go into your settings and you go under vehicle settings and you press OK, and then you see rear wing on over here. So what you want to do is, while the rear wing is deployed with a green light over here, you go into there like I showed you, and then you go off. Now that automatic feature of deploying it and going back down is going to be turned off. Now your rear wing is going to be deployed at all times regardless. Tip number 2. A lot of you probably didn't even know this. I don't know if many of you have asked this. I think I've seen the question a couple times. But a little shortcut for your audio system. So let's just put on the audio right now. And you can hear the music still playing. Now what you have basically is, if you want to mute from the steering wheel instead of actually going to your volume knob over here, what you can do in terms of muting the volume from the steering, you go over here in the mode button and you hold it, and then it actually mutes it or pauses it. Then you go back on here and it goes back on. So that's a little tip for you guys. If somebody's talking or you want to hear something and you want to basically do an immediate shutdown of the volume, you press on that. So tip number 3, I'm not sure if you guys know, but there are ways in this menu over here, the little menu that is on the main screen, where you can change some of the metrics over here. So this metric you can change, and that metric you can change. The other stuff, like your tire pressure, your gear position, your metric on your miles per hour, kilometers per hour, your G meter, or your rear wing as well, you cannot change. But these things over here, these first 2, you can actually change. How do you change that? So once again, you go into your menu, you go under meter settings, and then you go into drive info. You have 2 different drive infos. You have drive info 1 and drive info 2. So let's say on drive info 1, as you guys remember before, I had that little bar over there. So now, as you can see, it's currently selected as current and bar type. So now if I change it to distance and range, and then I can do these things over here, for example, I can do the range, keep it as blank, after reset, after start, after refuel. So let's just say the range I want to do after start. So now if I go under average fuel economy after I started the car, now you can see that changed to after start. Now if I want to change the current miles per gallon, I go back to meter settings, drive info 1, I can change the bar type. Instead of bar type, I can do, let's say, elapsed time after start. So if I do elapsed time after start, now I go back once again, and now you can see the elapsed time on the vehicle after I started the vehicle. So now those things have been changed. You can also change those things on the other menu. So drive info, and I can change this. Average fuel economy after refuel, and then I can do average fuel economy after start or whatever. But you can change it whichever way you want. I'm gonna put it back to my drive info 1, which is the way that I liked it. So basically, let's do after reset, or let's do a bar type like I had it before, and then this after refuel. And now if I go back once again, you guys will see I have the same thing that I had before. Hopefully that'll help you guys out in terms of changing the meter settings. So a lot of people and reviewers actually complain that the LC500 doesn't have any shortcuts or any physical buttons for the seat heating or cooling, or the heated seats, or anything that has to do with the actual seats in terms of the climate control. But what Lexus ended up doing, in order to actually combat that, they actually put in what you call the concierge service. So concierge, basically what it does is like an auto AC feature that covers everything from the steering wheel to the HVAC around the cabin, and also the seats. So based on the actual temperature that you actually set over here for each side, your seats will also adjust according to that temperature. On top of that, your steering wheel as well, if you actually put it to a high temperature, will actually turn on the heated steering wheel as well, which is pretty cool. So how do you get to the concierge? Let's go in and take a look. So you go, press on menu on the middle, you go under climate, and then you go to the side over here and you click on concierge, and then over here you make sure to highlight that. Once it's highlighted, then you know that concierge is actually on. So now, for example, if I go back to the menu or to the map, now if I want to adjust this, I don't know if you can hear, but not only does the HVAC turn on quite a bit, but the seat as well starts cooling and putting the full max. Now we can actually see this right here as well. So let's go here, and now you'll see, now if I take down the temperature over here, you'll see the seat. See how it actually just went up over there? Now I'll bring the temperature back up, and you'll see that the seat cooling starts going down. It doesn't actually, it brings down the actual amount of air that brings through the seat itself. So that's Climate Concierge, which is a pretty cool feature. It basically allows you to adjust everything from there. Finally, tip number 5. This one I haven't seen many questions about, but it's something that, you know, I discovered on my own through a little scare, because I ended up touching it by mistake, and I thought that my trunk release was not working, whether on my button or on the button here on the side as well, and I started getting scared. But then I finally discovered that it's actually a pretty cool little feature that Lexus integrated into the LC to protect any of the actual belongings that you have left in the trunk if you were to ever actually give it to a valet or anybody else. So this feature is basically the trunk enable or disable function to not allow any of the buttons to be able to open the trunk. So what it is you open the glove box over here, and you'll see in there's a little button over here that says trunk opener. Cancel if you actually press on it, and it's gonna raise, or if it's actually pressed, which is inside, that means that it's enabled. That means that you can open your trunk. So let me just show you guys a little quickly over here. So if I were to actually press on this, now it's actually further out, the button. Now if I try, let's say for example, to open the trunk over here, nothing happens. And I can't even do it from the key, or you can't even do it, let's just show you from the outside as well. There's your release button over there. That doesn't work either. So let's give it another shot and pressing it once again over here. Now this trunk release over here, if I press it, now it works. As you can see, it just opened the door in the trunk release. So let's just open it up to show you. Now this button also works. See? So that's a little cool feature that Lexus basically integrated to protect any of the belongings that you have in your trunk. So I hope that actually helped you guys out in terms of the tips and tricks on the Lexus. Well guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that quick video on the 5 tips and tricks of the Lexus LC500. I really do hope you guys were able to get something out of this and that it helped you figure out some of the features of this LC500, this beautiful vehicle. And please subscribe, comment, like, and I'll see you guys on the next one.